Now, I've defined momentum as confidence about the future created by a series of wins in the past. See, if you don't have any wins in the past, you're not too excited about the future, right? If you didn't see God move, what makes you're probably pretty depressed that God is going to move. But because you've seen God do some things in the past, you're thinking, well, we believe God's going to do some things in the future. How many believe God's going to do some great things in the future? Okay, so you kind of understand, you've got confidence about your future. Or we might as well just shut the doors, close it, and do something else. But I don't believe that's what you believe in. You believe in momentum. So let's talk about the three components of sustained momentum. This is in your outline. You got it? Number one is new. Number two is improved. And number three is improving. These are the components of momentum. It's real simple. New, improved, and improving. If you're going to gain and sustain momentum. Now, let me just tell you, I was driving here yesterday, I heard that Circuit City is going bankrupt. They're closing all their stores, laying off 30,000 employees nationwide. I think 500 stores, I think it said. So, if it's happening in businesses, and we know a lot of companies are going out of business, what makes us think that churches are going to go out of business? So, why do some businesses succeed? Why is Best Buy having profits and Circuit City had to close down? They didn't understand, I think, this principle of the three components of momentum. And that is new, improved, and improving. Let's look at new. What does it mean, new? What does new have to do with momentum? Your outline says that new triggers momentum. Anytime you say, this is new, it triggers momentum. You bring anything new, by definition, generates some kind of momentum. We're going to say, okay, Trinity Church, we're going to launch the new children's ministry. Well, just that alone, what is going to gain some interest, right? Oh man, they've been doing new. About time, the old one was stuck. The old one was stuck, but the new one, we have a new. See, new always triggers momentum. That's why you go to stores, they say new. You know, like new management, you know, new owner, you know, a restaurant under new management, because they want to create some momentum. So new always triggers momentum. The problem is, doesn't mean it's going to sustain, right? You can say new, go in there and think this is worse than before, right? So anything new, by definition, generates some kind of momentum. And number three, the momentum can be positive or negative. Just think about it. Momentum can be positive. Think about, was 9/11 negative or positive? It was negative, right? But it created momentum. Why? Because you'll never travel through an airport the same ever again because of 9/11, right? They make you take your shoes off, your belt, you know, you can't have any fluid, you know, I hate it, really. But because of 9/11, it created a negative momentum. But sometimes a negative experience can trigger positive momentum. I think I read just recently out in the news, a guy who landed the plane in the Hudson River. That was negative. How many would like to land in the Hudson River, right? None of you. But the guy's like a hero. I mean, he's been awarded by the governor, the president, and the newly elected president of this hero, this pilot. And so this negative experience caused positive momentum. Aren't you glad that there are pilots like that? And, you know, makes you a little safer to fly. You know, the guy wasn't asleep at the wheel. You know, he actually landed this thing in the water and nobody got hurt. So positive and negative. I mean, I've been in church. My first position, they had nothing. They had nothing. I was a youth pastor. They had nothing. So anything I did was positive. Right? It was a negative situation, but anything caused positive momentum. So a positive event, positive momentum can happen. Let's go down to number 4. Then studies any organization that has enjoyed a season of momentum, and you will discover 1 or 3 things. So, if you want to change an organization, if you want want to change, and when we'll look at any organization, not just the church, but even your business, that if it's not going well, you've lost momentum, you're losing customers. You know, Starbucks just downsized, they targeted some stores. With Krispy Kreme, you know, had to shut down stores because they had to realize we've lost momentum. We're not growing more customers. Well, 3 things have to happen. Number 1, you have to have new leadership. That the present leadership isn't able to create and sustain momentum. You know, that's why we have ministries and departments that they're good, but they're not going anywhere, and it may be you need a new leader. Now, don't look at anyone when I'm saying this. But sometimes it happens, you know. There was a day that they're probably, you know, I needed to leave youth ministries because it was a better youth pastor, you know, and it's okay, but I created momentum and I created, you know, growth, but now it's someone else's turn to do it. So maybe you need a new leader, or secondly, you need new direction or vision. So if you want to create momentum, sometimes you have to say, okay, maybe it's not the leader. Maybe we have a great leader. Maybe what we knew is to change the direction or vision of our ministry. That what we did worked, but now it doesn't. Women's ministry in the Assemblies of God were famous for sewing quilts for missionaries. That women's groups, they called it women's ministry councils, or whatever they used to call them, used to get together and have sewing machines and sew quilts. I have one. When I was in Bible college, a women's ministry group gave us quilts for Bible students, and I still have this thing. It's like as thin as a tortilla now. All the stuff is wore out, but so because it was really a good thing then, do you think that's a good use of women ministry to get in a room and sew quilts for missionaries? Now, at that time it was good, but maybe it needs new vision. Maybe women should be concerned about the needs of women. Hurting women, single women, single parents, you know, that have children. I mean, there's other things, right? But so you need new vision sometimes. Or number 3, a new product or program. So if you want to change the momentum of your ministry, you want to change momentum, you've got to look at new leadership, new direction or vision, or new product or programs. So the implication is that when you evaluate an organization or program that lacks momentum, okay, look at all our ministries. We're going to look at all the ministries of this church, what are growing, what are not growing, what have kind of gone stagnant, what aren't producing. You've got to ask some tough questions. And most leaders don't like to ask these questions. And the question is, do we need a new leader? Do we need new direction? Or do we need a new product? Or a combination of those 3? So let me just say, new always triggers momentum. We're famous for the revival. What is a revival? It's a new thing, right? Let's come to the revival. It'll change your life. It'll always spark some momentum, but that doesn't mean it's going to stay. You know, you could say, well, you know, no one's joining the choir. We have new choir robes. And we'll buy new choir robes, and that will get the choir going again. But if the choir director can't sing on tune, you might not, right? The new choir robes might not work. But see, churches are famous for that. They say, we're going to have the new children's ministry. So they find some Sunday school room, they paint it a different color, and that's all they do. And so people come expecting something new, excited, and guess what? They're disappointed. We're famous for that, church. So, warning, new doesn't guarantee sustained momentum, but new is essential trigger for momentum. It's got to be new. Now that